So Protagoras was a pre-Socratic Greek philosopher. This guy is assumed to be the number one sophist by Plato. Sophist is another word for skilled or wise men. And these men are perceived to be very wise in the Greek and Roman days. They call this time the classical time. But this guy lived from about 490 to about 420 BC, and he is acclaimed by Plato and many others as to be the first or one of many. Now, on many subjects, this guy had a lot to say. People followed him, thought of him as being a very wise man, but on the subject of gods, he had no idea whether they existed or not. And he also said that he didn't really have the means to discover whether these deities were real or not. With that being said, they gathered all his works together and kind of burned them in the city square because they wanted to pull him out of the important guy list. But basically, he said that man is the measure of all things, and Plato interpreted that by saying that there is no absolute truth, um, that man is the measure of what he believes or what he deems to be true. And you can see that throughout history. As long as people believe certain things, those things are deemed to be true, even though they may not be. So with this guy, the followers of him were people like Thales, Aristotle, who was actually paid to teach Alexander the Great, Plato, Socrates. The names go on and on of all of these individuals that were interconnected in some way, learning from each other and previously learning from other groups of people, and they were proclaimed as wise men because of it. All of the African teachings that they received out of Kemet, the Ethiopian, as well as the Kush and Nubian teachings that they learned as well, the learnings and teachings that they received in Samaria, also in Mesopotamia and Babylon area, all relate to other sources of knowledge and information and wisdom. But the credit was granted to these individuals because of who they were and where they were coming from. None of them created any of the information in which they brought to power. Again, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, this guy, all of them. So look back into your history and start to dig into these individuals because they did not create what you know as relativity, mathematics, metaphysics, none of the such. Yes, it's a lot to swallow, but start taking in this information piece by piece, and I promise you, you'll get to an ends to your means.